The Athletics acquired Jed Lowry right before spring training, and so far the versatile infielder has been everything they had hoped for. The switch-hitting Oregon native has had a career year at the plate, playing in 128 games and is currently sitting on a 12-game hitting streak. Last night, Jed and the A's rallied in the eighth as he knocked in the go-ahead run, helping the A's take Game 1 of this wild-card showdown with the Tampa Bay Rays. Tonight, Sonny Gray takes the mound as he looks to rebound from his first setback of his early career. The 2011 first-round pick has pitched his two best games of the season right here at the Coliseum. It's Game 2, A's-Rays, next. Saturday Night Baseball coming up from the O.Co Coliseum. Big crowd on hand, fireworks after the game, and Sonny Gray looking to bounce back after a tough start. So Sonny Gray is going to take the mound tonight for the Athletics in Game 2 of this three-game series between the A's and the Rays. The two teams fighting it out for those two wild card spots in the American League. And for the A's, they're just two back of the Rangers. Rangers hosting the Twins right now. And keep an eye on the Yankees. They won again today. They beat the Orioles. Hey again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball along with Ray Fosse. I'm Glenn Kuiper. Well, Jed Lowry's out. He had the big hit last night. And, Ray, maybe the difference for Jed Lowry this year is he's staying healthy.
Right.
He's always been a pretty good player, but he hasn't been able to stay healthy. He is this year, and he's producing.
You know, he's never played in the month of September. That begins tomorrow. But what he's done in the first 5 months of the season has been unbelievable. Billy Beane wanted him. He got him before the season began. And the biggest thing for Jed Lowry, you're going to see a lot of doubles, and he has hit 40 on the season. But he realized at the beginning of the season when people talked to him, he said, I hit doubles. Occasionally, I'll hit home runs. He's hit 10 home runs, but he has been a doubles machine. Occasionally, he'll get in a one, as he did in Detroit. But the biggest thing for him, driving in runs, he's driven in 58. He has 10 home runs. Here was his 40th double last night. It drove home the go-ahead run in the bottom of the eighth inning. The A's ended up winning by 1 run. For Jed Lowry, he got the baseball. He's probably going to get a lot more. He'll be looking for number 50, probably get the baseball then.
But 2 starts ago, we saw how good Sonny Gray can be. His last start, we saw a rookie struggle.
And you're going to see a lot of pitches against the Orioles that were elevated. But first, you're going to see some good things against Seattle. And you look at the difference for him. When he pitched against Houston, he beat them here. And also against Seattle, 94 pitches. He did a great job, came out of the game. But he mixed his pitches through curveballs, changeups. But against the Orioles, that was not the case. He elevated too many pitches. They hit him early. He did not last very long in the game. But it's a difference for any pitcher. You get the ball down with a good curveball, you have a chance to win. Once he elevated the pitches in Baltimore, he got beat badly.
So Sonny Gray tonight for the A's, Alex Cobb for the Rays. So another good young pitcher for Tampa Bay. So Game 2 of the series coming up. A's with a big win last night. They'll try to make it 2 in a row tonight. We'll have lineups and first pitch. The A's and the Rays coming up from the Coliseum.
California, is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Go big at a participating Jack in the Box with Jack's really big chicken sandwich combos for only $3.99 plus tax.
A's and the Rays just about set to go from the O.K. Coliseum. Sonny Gray and the Athletics head to the field wearing the gold tops tonight. Always a good look. And we're set for baseball. Game time weather for tonight presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily, and it's another warm night at the Coliseum. And, of course, start time an hour earlier than normal night games. So the sun will be an issue for, at least for the center fielder and the right fielder, for an inning or two. Let's look at the lineup tonight for the Tampa Bay Rays. DeJesus will lead off again. Then Escobar moves up to the second spot. Zobrist, Longoria, and Joyce. Will Myers, the terrific young rookie, is in the lineup. He's in right field. Then Loney, Lobaton, and Jennings.
And for Sonny Gray, he is making his 5th start, and in his 4 previous starts, he's gone 6, 8, 7, but just 3 1/3 in his last one against the Orioles. Good fastball, good curveball, changeup. 1-2 record. ERA jumped to 3.18 when he gave him 6 earnings at 3 1/3 last Sunday in Baltimore. So Sonny Gray facing the Rays for the first time, and they should be very impressed with his fastball and especially his curveball.
A's defense tonight has Cespedes in left, Crisp in center, Moss in right. Donaldson at third, Lowry at short, and Sogard at second, Barton at first, and Stephen Vogt is the catcher. Well, the A's won last night. Terrific ball game. They won 4-3 with a run in the bottom of the 8th inning after the Rays had tied it with 2 in the top of the 8th inning. And you know the standings. Of course, that wild card. The A's are now the #1 wild card team. The Rays are the #2 wild card team. Difference of a half a game. And it's the final game of August for the A's, and they'd like to, like every other month, finish over 500, 13-13 in the month of August. So September baseball starts tomorrow.
And of course, a win, it helps them win the first 2 games against this very tough Rays team. Kurt Suzuki, 3-run home run last night. He caught Sonny Gray last Sunday. Derek Norris caught the 2 previous starts. So Stephen Vogt tonight catching Sonny Gray for the first time.
So David DeJesus steps in. DeJesus playing left field tonight. He was in right field last night. And the first pitch of the ball game from Sonny Gray is high. Umpires tonight, Manny Gonzalez will call balls and strikes. Rendazzo at first, Vanover at second, Gorman the crew chief at third. Combined numbers with 3 teams for DeJesus. Sounded like the Rays were going to, of course, tomorrow, September 1st, so rosters can expand. Saw that they were going to bring up Delman Young, who was let go by the Phillies a couple weeks ago. The Rays picked him up, and he's, at least that was what the report was, that Delman Young would be with the Rays tomorrow. We'll see if that indeed does happen.
Well, there's some minor league teams that have good enough records going to play in postseason, but tomorrow when they can increase the rosters, major league teams will look at needs and they will bring those players up, and I'm sure the A's will be thinking about doing the same thing.
And when you say needs, you may think if you're any team, but hey, maybe you want a guy who can swipe a bag for you late in the game as a pinch runner. That's always important. Maybe you need another left-handed arm in your bullpen. There's a lot of different ways you can go. You can add as many as you want, up to a total of 40, which teams usually don't do. But we may see 3 or 4 A's, new A's tomorrow.
You know, one of the things, Scott, is the 3-1 fastball, and Gonzalez, the home-plate umpire, get that severe angle, so he is not giving very much to the outside part of the plate, at least in this first bat of the lefty. You see where he is positioned and where the outside corner is.
DeJesus swings and misses. He swung at ball 4, and that's out number 1 here in the first inning. It's a strikeout.
Well, he did go after a 93-mile-an-hour fastball and seeing it for the first time. A little bit over-anxious for David DeJesus, and right over the top challenged him. If he's patient, it's ball 4. Instead, he swung and missed and swung over a pitch that it's very hard to catch up.
Expo brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort.
Okay.
Those numbers are on the fastball. And he just did not have great command in Baltimore. And against a good lineup like the Orioles, they took advantage of some missed location pitches for Gray.
He's already doing something tonight that he did not do last Sunday. He's getting the ball down. Everything was elevated last Sunday, and at least he's missing low and out of the strike zone.
Good pitch there, called a strike. Escobar doesn't agree, and the count is 1-1.
I've been thinking about the September call-ups. Because of bullpens, you have as many as 7 relievers at times. So you could have 12 pitchers, 13 position players, and in essence, you're looking at 4 extras. So it enables on the September 1st to be able to say, let's get some more position players so we can do something with it. Well, I'd say Escobar is 0 for 2 with Manny Gonzalez. He complained about the first strike, the fastball, and now the curveball he didn't like.
They're still talking.
And we saw last night with Manny Gonzalez, I don't think you could talk too much to him at all, because he was showing a little bit at first base last night, and of course even more powerful tonight from behind the plate.
So 1-2 the count to Escobar. Zobrist will be next. And he swings at a pitch in the dirt on a breaking ball, and that's back-to-back strikeouts to start the game.
Well, why not go back to it? See if he's aggressive. He is. Stephen Vogt, very importantly, blocking the ball that was in the dirt and able to keep the ball in front of him as a pitch way out in front. Maybe didn't hit home plate.
So 2 outs for Ben Zobrist. Zobrist had a couple of hits last night. 2 for 4. He also walked. He was on base 3 times. Single, double, and a walk. Fastball just missed inside. Looked like a close pitch. Talking about the stuff. See that a lot in the dugout, especially against a rookie pitcher. Good pitch there on 2-0. Grabs the outside corner.
Well, I would think Sonny Gray has an advantage facing a team for the first time, and especially the conditions with the sun in the outfield, pitching from the shadows, but in the background is the sunshine.
That one called a strike.
And
Zobrist doesn't like it.
Well, maybe the A's hitters can follow suit. Maybe they'll just go up swinging. Look for Vogt to set up in the outside corner. And again, Manny Gonzalez, that pitch on the plate, and he had that one correct.
Breaking ball drops low, 3-2. So early disagreements between the Rays hitters and Manny Gonzalez. That one off the plate, and it's to Gray, who picks it up, throws in time, and that's a 3-up, 3-down inning with a couple of strikeouts for Sonny Gray. Bottom of the first coming up. Alex Cobb set to take them out for the Rays. No score. We'll start with Coco Crisp. He'll be followed by Donaldson, Lowry, Moss, Cespedes, Smith, Barton, Sogard, and Vogt.
And the youngster Alex Cobb, one of the very good young pitchers for the Tampa Bay Rays, is on the mound making just his 17th start, and there's a reason for that we'll get into a little bit later, but he has been very good when he has pitched. 8-2 on the season, a loaded mid-90s fastball. He also throws a nice curve. He's got a split-finger fastball, but he did beat the A's at Tropicana Field in April, making his 3rd start of the season.
Here's the Rays defense. DeJesus, Jennings, Myers in the outfield. Longoria, Escobar, Zobrist, Loney on the infield. Lobaton is the catcher. So Coco Crisp heads to home plate. Lead things off for the A's here in the bottom of the 1st inning. A's are 76-58. They've won 4 out of their last 5. So they're hoping that it's the start of a nice stretch where they rack up some wins. These are 40-25 here at the Coliseum. This is game number 135. So they have 27 games left after tonight, Ray. 15 at home, 12 on the road. So 27 left after tonight. And there's a line shot, base hit right field. Coco Crisp does not wait around, and the A's have a base runner here in the bottom of the 3rd.
And on the 19th of April, first pitch he saw, he doubled. The A's actually scored a couple of runs the 1st inning off Cobb. Remember the game Brett Anderson started, sprained his ankle the 1st inning after giving up 4. There's a fastball down the middle for Coco, and he starts the game with a base hit. And of course, his last at bat last night in the DH role in the 8th inning was a base hit to center field off of the lefty David Price. Ended up scoring the go-ahead run.
So here's Donaldson, 296, 19 homers, 77 RBIs, again in the 2 spot.
We were talking last night, Kevin, about Donaldson hitting the 2nd spot. He's enjoying it a lot. But he did say there was an at-bat early in the game when Coco got on. And know how he talked about being able to see the run at first base, Coco with the green light. He said there was a time that Coco kind of flinched towards 2nd, and Donaldson took a pitch right down the middle. And those are the things that you want to take a pitch. So we often talked about how a base runner is going to run, not shoot up a flare like he's faking, because if a hitter sees that, he might not swing at a pitch. In the case of Donaldson, he had a good one to swing at and took it.
2-0 the count to Donaldson, with Lowry waiting to hit next. Inside corner strike. The Rangers and the Twins are tied 1-1 in the 5th inning. Twins winning last night 3-2, so we'll keep you updated on that game down in Arlington. Garza and Pelfrey is the pitching matchup. Here are the Twins today. Traded Justin Morneau to the Pittsburgh Pirates. So the Pirates, they're feeling good and they're going for it.
Well, today's the final day. You have to have a player in the organization to be able to make him eligible for postseason. So it is a critical day around baseball. So Justin, oh wow,
pretty good jump by Coco Crisp, and he makes it without a problem. You want to see a good jump, folks? You're about to see it.
Well, even better, Josh Donaldson saw it. He faked a bunt. The pitch was out of the strike zone. And we often talk about if a pitcher does not get a sign from the dugout to throw to first, he will not pay attention. And Coco, as soon as he came to set position, it really is kind of hysterically funny. I mean, to watch that happen, because there have been successes. That one was, but we've also seen when guys have been picked off because the pitcher has paid attention. All you have to do is simply step off. Fortunately, Cobb did not.
So now a runner in scoring position and a 3-1 count to Donaldson. And there's a walk. Single and a walk to open up the bottom of the first. So Justin Morneau goes to the Pittsburgh Pirates for young outfielder Alex Presley and cash. 17 home runs for Morneau this year. Maybe something that was attractive, Ray, is 9 of those 17 home runs have come in August.
Yeah. He's a free agent, right? At the end of the season.
Yeah. So the Pirates have picked up Morneau, Marlon Byrd, and John Buck in the last, 7 to 10 days. Right. 3 pretty good veteran players. And the Pirates are beating the Cardinals again tonight in Pittsburgh 7-1. And if they win that game, they will be in first place in the National League Central all by themselves.
Yeah, predicting 3 teams will come out of the Central Division of the National League for postseason. That was
the way it looks.
The division plus the 2 wild cards. Yeah, considering the East and the West.
Nobody really. Diamondbacks are kind of hanging around a little bit. They're going to need a huge September to do anything. So the Pirates in the National League becoming a pretty good story this year. We saw them, and they do have a nice team. Oh, 0-1 to Lowry with 2 on and nobody out here in the first. Watching the Rangers-Twins game, and I got to tell you, Ray, we got some studying to do for the Twins. I mean,
well, we knew that.
Boy, there's names that never even heard of.
Well, you know what it's going to be like playing the National League, Interleague, where you're seeing teams from the National League that you aren't.
Maybe even worse.
Yeah, well, yeah, because at least there's some familiar names in National League teams, but
Willingham is playing, and we know that.
Yeah.
Boy, after that, there is, especially with Bauer not playing. 0-2 pitch, and there's the Cobb changeup, and it's a good one. And Lowry strikes out.
Well, they pulled the string nicely and right over the top and down. And Mitchell has a good split, and that one went down very nicely. So I would say the A's trying to do what hitters will do with a pitcher who has a very good split, and that is try to get ahead of him fast.
Throws it a lot.
Yep.
So 1 out for Moss. 3 infielders on the right side for Moss, and he rolls and foul. Ray, you mentioned time on the DL for Cobb. And did not mention what happened, but it was serious.
Yeah, very. When you hit the line drive, and Hosmer got him. He's back, June
15th,
right?
yeah.
So he's out a couple of months. And concussion did come back, but man, that's scary. As we saw Brandon McCarthy last season against the Angels here at the Coliseum get hit with the line drive. So it's dangerous. You have to really admire pitchers who stand 60 feet 6 inches away from the mound, pitcher's slab to home plate, but by the time they stride, they're a little bit farther out front.
Look away
if you don't want to see it.
You don't want to see it because it is a little bit ugly. It does bring back
well,
scary memories of Brandon McCarthy last year.
Absolutely. Just the sound. And thank God he was able to come back and get back on the mound.
And not only he missed 50 games, but indeed back and pitching well.
Yeah.
He's a very good young right-hander. Those are the 3 starts since coming back from the disabled list. One-two pitch. And there's that changeup, and you see it about 83, 84, 85. You're saying it's got a little split finger action.
Yeah, it will go down like a split, and that's makes it even tougher because it can come in and then just dart straight down. And you're looking at the change of velocity and the movement. So another 1-2 to Moss.
Strike 3 called on the inside corner. So he planted that one right on the inside half, and that's the second out.
Well, Lobaton moved inside, and Moss, who close to the plate, open stance closed, and then he knew it. There's your two seam. You see the movement of the ball starts in, but comes back over the plate. So single stolen base, walk, and remember he threw Donaldson a 3-1 curveball. So it looks like to Lowry and Moss, he pitches differently to the lefties than he does to the righties. We'll see if Cespedes how the right-hander approaches him. About a base hit to second base. It goes into right field because the shift for Cespedes with Zobrist directly behind second. There's your shift. Right side. First baseman Loney off to the bag, but trying to take up some of the space on the right side.
Fouled to the right side, and now the count is 0-2. Cespedes was 1 for 4 last night. Crisp led it off with a single. Donaldson with a walk. Long look in by Cobb. Now he's ready. And the 0-2 pitch is a fastball outside. Runner set to go on contact. This one's popped up, foul territory, long run, and it's going to be Cobb who had the best chance to catch it, and he couldn't do it. Loney went into a slide, but I'm not sure Loney was going to get to it.
No, he was playing back because runners at first and second, and remember the shift employed by the Rays. So Cobb hustling and actually flipped his cap off as he was running and just could not come up with it. Fortunately, no collision as he split between Lobaton and Loney. As you mentioned, Loney very smartly going into the slide. And yes, I'd say that there should be a conference on the mound to let him catch his breath.
That's a good effort.
Absolutely. Like to see pitchers take charge like that. Lobaton sat there as long as he can because Cobb is breathing heavily. Those sprints, and remind everybody that pitchers are in great shape, but when they have to sprint, as Cobb just did in the foul territory, or sprint to first base, that's exerting a lot of energy that really they need to take time to regroup before they make the next pitch.
And that one's hit hard toward third. Longoria throws to second, side retired. So the A's with a good opportunity, but they cannot cash in. No score after 1. Flight. Best records since 2008 in all of Major League Baseball. Rays are second. And that's since 2008. 2008, they won the division, and that was their first season having a winning record. And since then, they've been good every year.
You know who played for them those years? Johnny Gomes.
Johnny Gomes.
Since Johnny Gomes, teams win. Now he's in Boston. They're winning this year.
So Longoria to lead it off. He'll be followed by Joyce and then Myers.
And is Brandon Moss playing right field. It's Josh Reddick still on the disabled list.
Longoria, 267 with 28 home runs. Had a bloop single last night. He was 1 for 4.
Had a big smile on his face when he blooped the ball to right field. A big swing. Dropped in front of Boston and everybody else converging on him. See the 28 home runs. He's hit the Yankees well, a team that the Rays play a lot in the Eastern Division.
The Rays 3.5 back of Boston in that East. They will play the Red Sox 3 more games this year. They'll play the Orioles 4 more times. They'll play the Yankees 3 more times. And that one is called strike 3. Longoria is going to chat with Manny Gonzalez.
Well, I'm sure there's some players going upstairs quickly to watch the replays of some of these strikes called. And votes outside, that did not look like that bad of a pitch from that angle. Longoria, of course, with the open stance closed, and I'd say he's not happy with the call.
Here's Matt Joyce, who takes a strike. I think what happens, Ray, is manager, coaches, whatever, they see their guys arguing, and at some point the dugout's going to start chirping. And that's when umpires usually say that's enough.
If they hear it.
If they hear it. And my guess, Manny Gonzalez not only can hear it, he's probably expecting to hear it soon from the Rays dugout. On a 2 now to Joyce, who's got 17 home runs, 44 RBIs.
I always like it when the umpires send their address over for Christmas cards before they umpire. Knowing they're probably not going to get a lot. They establish a strike zone, and basically, if the strikes are called, it's simply saying swing the bat. And 2 strikeouts on swing and misses by De Jesus out of the strike zone. Escobar out of the strike zone in the first inning.
And I'm sure that the Rays are still not happy about Brian Gorman's strike zone last night. And that could stick in their mind a little bit. Two and 2 now to Joyce, with Myers waiting in the on-deck circle.
Joyce, the 5th hitter, and he took the curveball without a problem. Probably picked up the rotation and seen Sonny Gray throw a few curveballs already.
Strike 3 called, and Joyce turns around, heads back to the dugout. So that is 4 strikeouts for Sonny Gray. And here's our forward right choice, June 22nd of this year. This young man coming up, Will Myers, first home run in his career, and it's a grand slam off CC Sabathia at Yankee Stadium. 5th player to hit a grand slam off a Cy Young Award winner.
Did it on the big stage. And that's going Oppo, right center.
So Valencia, we remember Danny Valencia, no longer with the Twins. That one called a strike. Stephen Vogt dropped it.
That's not good.
I'm telling you, it's going to start from the dugout soon, and here it is.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time.
Well, in other words, Joe Mann said, hey, if you can't catch the ball high, can you call it a strike? And, you know, it's really not the umpire's fault. Stephen Vogt should have caught it.
And Manny Gonzalez just keeps pumping that right arm, and it's 0-2.
This thing at Will Myers, traded to Tampa Bay from the Kansas City Royals organization. And the great Hall of Famer George Brett didn't use batting gloves. And here is Will Myers, sans gloves. Big boy, you could understand why the Royals liked him and the Rays even more. And it was one of those untouchables. But the Royals desperately needed pitching and got a couple of very good ones from Tampa Bay. James Shields, Wade Davis, and willing to give up this young prospect, now major league.
June 18th is when they called him up. Could not wait any longer. And he's been impressive. 6'3", 190 pounds, just 22 years old. And we had heard a lot about him Ray the last couple of years. He was putting up big numbers in the Royals minor league system. Curveball and a good one. And Sonny Gray has 5 strikeouts in the first 2 innings. Bottom of the second coming up. No score. Sonoma Raceway, the FIA World Touring Car Championship returns to Sonoma September 7th and 8th. For tickets, go to racesonoma.com. No score, bottom of the second. A's had something going against Alex Cobb in the first, but they had the first 2 guys on, but could not get anybody home. Well, they stranded a couple. Cobb threw 19 pitches in that first inning. Everybody's out tonight. Fireworks night. Good, very good crowd. It's the last fireworks show of the year, I believe, is it not? Is there one more?
Seems like there was one more. Okay. Yes, there is. It's the 20th of Friday night, 20th of September. That will be fun. Star Wars fun.
That's right.
Yeah, they've. It's all right. They can come out anytime they want dressed like that because they had to get here somehow.
1-1 to Smith, followed by Barton and Sogard here in the bottom of the second inning. Melvin's Misfits.
That doesn't do him justice.
No, it looks like Bob put on a little weight in that picture.
Almost looked like Rosales with his mouth closed.
Bob Melvin's good shape, big, strong guy.
He works hard. Spends a lot of time preparing for the games, but he also works out to just kind of get some of the frustration, nervous energy, get it out. But he's in very good shape.
Twins and the Rangers still tied 1-1, bottom of the 6th in Arlington. And the Rangers will be here at the Coliseum on Monday night. Well, that's going to be a big series, fun series, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Nasty pitch there, and Cobb has his 3rd strikeout.
It could be one of those nights where both pitchers are getting the strikeouts. The A's swing and misses, as in the case of Lowry. Moss has gone that one. Now Seth Smith with that tumbler that comes in out of the strike zone, fooled as he was on the last couple of pitches.
Those are the last 3 starts versus the A's.
Don't expect to walk a lot because he walked 4 while striking out 17.
Well, his only career shutout came against the A's last August in St. Petersburg. A 4-hitter. So the Rangers will be here Monday for a day game, Tuesday a night game, then Wednesday a day game. The A's will go to Texas 13th, 14th, and 15th, and that's it then. The A's and the Rangers will not play after that, so 6 games left. So it should be a fun 3-game series coming up on Monday. Here's some highlights from that shutout.
It's all strikeouts. That didn't make the boys look very good, but he did a good job doing it again tonight.
Another strikeout. He's got 4. I just thought Cobb and Hellickson pitch a lot alike. Hellickson struggling some this year, but they have the same style. Both good changeups. So here's Sogard. Nerd power in full effect out in right field.
You see, Eric doesn't wear sunglasses, so you got to get those clear glasses, because Sogi just wears plain glasses that during the sunny days, which will be tomorrow, he will not be wearing sunglasses.
.267 with a couple of home runs for Sogard. He did not play last night's game. A couple of good curveballs by Cobb. So 0-2. And a fastball inside corner, strike 3 called. So how about that inning? Alex Cobb strikes out the side. He's got 5 strikeouts. No score after 2. earlier today. The band Green Day. It's an East Bay band. Very popular. And there's a couple gentlemen, Trey Cool and Billy Joe Armstrong from the band. Tonight's fireworks are Green Day themed. So that is Trey Cool. He threw out the first pitch. And they're big Ace fans. They have to be. Come on, they're from the East Bay. So Green Day, very popular in the house tonight. And they're going to enjoy the game and then sit back and enjoy the fireworks. So it's good to have him here. And he's happy too. Happy guy.
Number 21, James Loney.
Trey Cool, Billy Joe Armstrong, and the guys from Green Day.
Well, you know all those guys, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're always on top of things like that. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Did they get your autograph?
No.
They didn't win the prize, huh?
I got theirs, though.
Big Nate, though, is catching the first pitch. Nate
knows Green Day, guarantee it.
Big smile as he shook the hands after catching the first pitch. I mean, if you could throw a first pitch and not throw it over Nate's head, that's a good one.
That's true. That is very true. So Loney, Lobaton, and Jennings, bottom three in the order. That one hit right back up the middle. It goes right over second base, and it goes into center field. And James Loney has the Rays' first hit, and it's a leadoff single. Just hard enough to get past Gray, and then it was on into center field.
Well, and just enough over the mound, and Sonny Gray reaching back. Look how far he falls off towards first base. And I always think about, if you win a Gold Glove as a pitcher, you do one thing. When you finish, you're covering the mound. You're able to catch any ground ball back over the mound, and that's why Greg Maddux and Jim Cott, Mike Mussina, guys won 15, 16 Gold Gloves, because they fielded the position, and that's big.
And I would say more pitchers fall off like Sonny Gray does, whether they're right-handed or left-handed. There's more that do that than there are that square up. And
well, it usually the ones who square up are the non-fastball velocity pitchers. I mean, Sonny Gray throws hard. It's like he's getting everything into his pitches, whether it's the curve of the fastball. So it does have a tendency to have them fall off a little bit, maybe too much. And plus, if you're definitely a ground ball pitcher, it's Greg Maddux, who's going to Hall of Fame, I think, next year. He knew he got ground ball outs, he was going to field his position. Catfish the same way.
One and one to Jose Lobaton, who's a switch hitter. Hitting .262. Molina caught last night. Short lead for Loney at first. That one's driven to center. Coco's going back. He's near the wall. He's got just enough room. Loney is going to tag, and he's going to go to second. Lobaton put a charge into that one. Coco grabbed it right in front of our sign. Comcast Sportsnet, California.
Well, changeup, and there's the circle changeup that was thrown by Sonny Gray, and for Lobaton, hit it well. And more impressive was the fact that James Loney read it perfectly, because he saw Coco camping under it in front of the Comcast Sportsnet California sign, and went back to first, hustled in the second, made it without a throw.
First runner in scoring position for the Rays. Here's Desmond Jennings. Donaldson playing even with the bag. The breaking ball is outside. Jennings was 0 for 3 last night. He did walk and he did score. Right? This one's popped up, and it could be playable for Barton. Near the seats, he's got just enough room, and he makes the catch. So the Coliseum gets Desmond Jennings.
And also Derek Barton does such a good job at first base. Really ran hard as far as he could go. And then started to watch the ball, realized that he's close to the rail, and almost saying, please try to go to third, Mr. Loney, because I have a very strong arm. And he does, and the fans said, catch it. They're A's fans, so they backed off a little bit to let Derek Barton make the play.
She's scared. She looks so scared. Derek wouldn't let
He's such
that
a nice
lady
guy.
get injured.
Yeah. Those looks in Exmo are really something, aren't they?
She was frightened. First pitch to DeJesus. Watch the lady with the glasses. She is scared.
She is saying, oh, please catch it. You know, you have those seats down on the front row.
Are you ready?
That's what you have to be waiting for.
1-0 to DeJesus, who struck out swinging in the first inning. Take there by DeJesus, and the count is 2-0. Each team with a hit. That one rolled slowly. Sonny Gray grabs it. He'll take it himself. Side retire. Maloney is stranded, and the Rays and the A's are scoreless as we head to the bottom of the third. Alex Cobb strikes out Will Venable, but a wild pitch allows Venable to get to second. He then steals second after Headley strikes out. Carlos Quinton strikes out, but getting to third is Venable, and then Venable scores on a walk, and then Yadier Alonso strikes out. So the deal is Cobb strikes out all four hitters he faces in the inning, but the Padres got a run. First time since Major League Baseball's inning records were available that a team scored a run in an inning in which every batter struck out. In this case, four guys struck out, but the Padres still scored a run. That was May 10th of this year. Alex Cobb was the pitcher. So he's in the record books. I don't know if he wants to be.
No,
he did strike out four in the inning. But that run scoring on a walk probably irritates him more than anything else.
So last year before that, Ryan Cook struck out four in Baltimore. But I think it was Adam Jones struck out on a pitch about 10 feet outside and reached first, but he didn't score that. That's right. And Cook ended up striking out the next batter.
Every once in a while, we see a pitcher strike out four in an inning. Vogt rolls it foul, so the count 1-2.
Cobb has a high leg kick with a hesitation. That's not, from a hitter standpoint, a very good combination to try to pick up the ball.
And there's a little hesitation in that leg kick as well. He kind of kicks that leg out, and then he sits there for just a split second. Just missed inside.
Just watch with a leg kick and then the hesitation. But you know, he's just showing his leg strength to be able to stand up and pause on top of the pitching slab. Dan Herron does that so well, where he kind of balance and then push forward with everything going towards the plate, because he starts with his left foot in front, similar to that of David Price.
Cue toward Longoria, throws on the run. Vogt is retired, and that's out number 1. So 7 in a row retired by Alex Cobb after Crispin Donaldson got on to lead off the bottom of the first. So Coco will hit for the second time. He lined a single to right on the first pitch he saw. And then he stole second base, but was stranded there. Breaking ball, and Coco pulls the bat back. Two straight breaking balls, and Coco's ahead in the count 2-0.
That's the catcher and pitcher realized that the first pitch he threw to Coco was a fastball, and he hit it. So he's not giving him another one, at least the first two.
Another breaking ball, and it's 3-0. Expect Cobb to throw 3 straight breaking balls. There's more changeups. And that went in for a strike.
Really, that wasn't a very good pitch to swing 3-0. So it was a very good pitch. Pitcher's pitch, that is, on 3-0.
But foul. That was that changeup.
This was the third game started by Alex Cobb, and unfortunately the A's got down early, had a 2-0 lead early, but 4-run first inning helped the Rays, but Coco did go deep later. And the A's started that series 12-4, and the Rays were 5-10. But the Rays swept the Athletics in those 3 games.
3-2 pitched, bounced over the mound. Zobrist throws in time to get Coco crisp. So 2 outs.
Now batting third baseman, number 20, Josh Donaldson.
So here's Donaldson. We said last night that trip to St. Petersburg, it's a long time ago. Hard to remember all the stuff that happened.
Yeah, 16 games into the season for the A's. Yeah, so see them in the first 3 weeks of the season and see them the last month of the season. Who knows, all that time the veranda can change.
I hope not. St. Petersburg. Nice stop on the American League Tour. At least we like it.
they're talking about maybe a stadium on the other side of the bridge in Tampa instead of St. Pete. That lease that the Rays have at Tropicana Field, 2027.
It sounds like the mayor of St. Petersburg is softening his stance on that lease a little bit, which that's probably the biggest obstacle.
Yeah. But they're not drawing, and I think he's finally realizing that they're having a lot of success. The Rays are, they're just not drawing, and whatever it takes to keep them in the area seems to be the biggest objective, main objective for the mayor of St. Pete.
I think most people feel like it's a big enough market, and it's the only team in the market that they should be able to draw.
After all, they do call them the Bay Area.
Yeah.
It's the Bay Area down in the southeast.
Loney going back, still going back, and he makes a basket catch. Side retired. So 3 up, 3 down, and he has 9 in a row retired by Alex Scott. No score as we head to the 4th. At the Coliseum, interesting stuff for the kids. Learn about science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and they throw baseball right in the mix. Throw the A's in the mix. Kids got to learn about all that stuff, and they did it at the ballpark instead of the classroom. Remember, all of that. So Chevron STEM Zone. Enjoying their day at the ballpark with the kids. So that was before the game. Fireworks after the game, and
2
playoff hopeful teams squaring off here at the Coliseum in front of a very nice crowd. So busy day at the ballpark.
A very busy day, and as we will show eventually, a lot of people are going to have to vacate their seats to hurry and get on the field to watch the fireworks, because there's an area in center field that a whole bunch of people can't sit in those seats or suites to see the fireworks. So it will be probably a little while after the game before everything is ready to go. Suites in center field all the way to the top. Even just below Mount Davis, those suites where the Raiders suites are sold. Cody and David in the suites apartments, about 139 suites sold tonight. So there's a whole bunch of the top to the bottom, filled to capacity. So those people have to leave, get down on the field, because they can't sit in the suites or those seats to watch the fireworks.
Escobar, Zobrist, Longoria against Sonny Gray. Gray has 5 strikeouts in the game. One of them was Escobar. But Gray has allowed just 1 hit. 2. And that fastball just a little bit outside. 2-2. Escobar had really animated conversation with the home plate umpire Manny Gonzalez in the first inning.
If he had been called out on that pitch, it might have been his last pitch for the night.
Yeah. Off the end of the bat, Allison scoops it up, and it's out number 1. So that'll bring up Zobrist. Well, they're going to the bottom of the 7th now in Arlington. Still tied at 1. Pitchers duel down there with Garza and Pelfrey. Rangers and the Twins. How about the Yankees, Ray? They won again, shutting out the Orioles 2-0 this afternoon. And the Yankees are doing their thing.
Yes, they are.
And he just... I looked at their lineup today, and the reason I looked at it, I remember when the A's played the Yankees earlier this year, we talked about how strange it was to look at their lineup and not see the guys that you're used to. Sogard backhands, and that's out number 2.
Makes it look easy. A little backhand, settled and threw out Zobrist, who runs well. Yeah, they're starting to get healthy, get some players back. I think only Teixeira, player that still not back. But Granderson, Jeter are back from A-Rod.
Yeah. And then Soriano's been great for them. Yeah. So you put him out there, and now it's a pretty good team again.
Yeah, Cano got hit in the hand, unfortunately for the Yankees, that it was not as serious as Granderson was in spring training and once again during the season.
Von Nova threw a shutout today for those Yankees.
Really, it all started when Dempster hit Alex Rodriguez in Boston.
So David Ortiz was right.
Yeah, he woke up a sleeping giant.
Yep. That one's into center field, and that's a base hit for Longoria, so a 2-out single. And that'll bring up Matt Joyce. So Longoria gets his second hit of the series.
A little bit off the plate, a little bit more, that is, it seems, for Longoria, who has the open stance, but right back up the middle. So the blue hit the right field last night, entered an over, solidly hit base hit to center field this time.
Joyce struck out looking in the second inning. Breaking ball down and in. Joyce has good power. He's not a real big guy. 17 home runs, though. Takes that fastball first strike. Joyce was originally a Detroit Tiger. The Rays traded Edwin Jackson to the Tigers for Matt Joyce, and that was back in 2008.
Jackson's been with about his fourth team since then.
At least.
Yeah. Still a young pitcher, still pitching well.
Close pitch, bit outside, 2-1.
Still remember Edwin Jackson, the pitcher to have about a 10-0 lead with a rain delay in the 5th inning. He went back out to complete the 5th inning and threw harder.
And then he threw harder again in the 6th inning, I think.
And that was about a over an hour rain delay. Figure started doesn't go out for that period of time. But
I think he had his eye on a W.
Well, he should have with a 10-run lead. Brian Rayburn hit a grand slam off of Brett Anderson.
So 3-1 here to Joyce. And Joyce rolls it foul, and now full count. So Longoria will take off on the pitch. Will Myers is in the on-deck circle.
Well, one thing we've seen with Sonny Gray when he has pitched and faced a lot of left-handed hitters, he stayed outside of the fastball, and they've been trying to roll over and pull the outside pitch. And as long as they do that, it's great. When they try to start going opposite field, it makes it a little bit more difficult. That's when they have to start pitching inside a little bit more. One curveball, 3-2.
And Joyce takes it, and it's down and in, and it's a 2-out rally for the Rays. Joyce had a pretty good look at that one, looked like.
Well, the one thing that you guys see on the curveball the second time, whenever Joyce struck out on the curveball his first at bat, that was 2-2. But you go 3-2, you're depending on the curveball to be either swung at, or you want it in the middle of the plate for a called third strike. But that's always dangerous. But Joyce, a good job taking it all the way.
So up steps Myers. Longoria at second, Joyce at first. And a fastball. Myers took it first strike. Struck out in the second inning. Myers had the night off last night. He has been struggling. And a breaking ball, and Myers out in front, and now it's 0-2. Maybe not where Gray wanted it, but Myers missed it.
Well, you just hope a hitter continues to struggle. That's a big swing, a long swing, and there's a 12-6 curveball. Great rotation, although it was left up a little bit too much.
Another breaking ball. So 1-2 to Myers. Outfield straightaway, fairly deep. Myers swings and misses at a breaking ball, and Gray gets a big strikeout, and the Rays strand a pair in the top of the fourth. Bottom of the fourth coming up, no score. Holds the Oakland A's record for doubles in a season with 47. Tweet us if you think you know the answer at CSN Athletics. 47. So Lowry's got a shot.
The record that will be broken probably by Jed Lowry.
He's got 40. Manny Machado leads the American League with 46.
Well, once Jed Lowry got his 39th double, he asked Chili Davis, the A's hitting coach, he said, you know, if I get 40, would it be unrealistic to ask for baseball? Chili said, if I'd gotten 40 doubles, I'd ask for it too. So that's what Chili was doing after he doubled in the 8th inning, and baseball was retrieved. Lowry was a little bit reluctant because he didn't know the protocol, but Chili said absolutely. It's a nice milestone, and he said when you do get to the 50 mark, you can ask for the next one. In the case of the A's record, maybe at that point. I still say when you start a season and you start thinking about doubles, and he's adapted well to this stadium, this Coliseum, where the ball doesn't travel particularly well. And he has been shaking his head a few times. The balls have been driven, but just wouldn't travel out.
That one's hit well to left field. DeJesus on the move, and he's in front of the wall, and he makes the catch for out in the wall.
Well, this was against Peralta in the bottom of the 8th inning, and Jed Lowry down the right field line stayed fair. That was after Coco had singled, gone to second on the hard hit ball by Donaldson that he knocked in running, and he's got the baseball. And boy, got it. And it's a nice one to have. Might have been shaking his head on that one. It seemed like he hit it quite well, but caught left field.
So 1 out. Moss hits, and a big curveball for a strike from Cobb. Moss struck out looking in the first inning. More action for DeJesus. He's going to have to come in on this one. Near the line, he's got it. We talked about that in the open of our show. The fact that I think most people felt Lowry was always a good player. He just had trouble staying healthy. He has stayed healthy this year.
A lot of freak injuries, and those things occur, and sometimes you just get them out of your system. And I think Jed Lowry is hopeful that all of those freak injuries are gone, thing of the past, and he's never played the month of September. And tomorrow he will begin the month, and that is pretty special when you look at the number of games played for him.
It's going to be the right fielder Myers right in front of Jennings. And that was scary, and they may have clipped each other just a little bit. 6-pitch inning for Alex Cobb, and he's on a roll. No score.
13 postseason rights. Just place a deposit on a 2014 A's ticket plan and secure your place in line for the 2013 playoff tickets. For more information, call 510-638-GO-A's or go to OaklandAthletics.com/deposit.
Fifth inning of a scoreless game. Cobb and Gray are both very sharp tonight, the young right-handers.
Number 21, James Loney.
So that group having a good time getting ready for what they hope is an A's victory and then the fireworks. Sonny Gray has thrown 60 pitches through the first 4 innings. 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Loney, Lobaton, and Jennings. Loney had a base hit in the 3rd inning. Hit one right up the middle. Top of the 8th inning in Arlington, still tied at 1. Garza is out of the game. He goes 7 innings. It's a strike. So Garza's pitching tonight. He would not pitch against the A's in the series coming up on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
That's a good 12-6 curveball, and hitters do not see a lot of hard curveballs. And the curve that's 12-6 just drops off the table. Good rotation over the top.
No swing.
See, there are some umpires will call that a swing just because the body, I mean, he's trying to stop his swing, but he carried the bat through the zone. Ryan Gorman immediately, but curveball, looked like he almost stumbled. And his body came through, but the bat did stay back.
Loney, a line shot, and Donaldson caught it in the air, and that's out number 1. So Loney trying to go the other way.
He does such a good job of doing it. We saw it last night, and Donaldson made another nice play. And to backhand the ball.
The strike down the outside corner. Fly ball to center field for Lobaton. He hit it pretty well. Coco went back into left center field. And now he's behind in the count 0-2. One is fair, and it rolls past Barton down the right field line. Lobaton digging for second, and he's going to make it. That ball must have went right over the bat.
Yeah. And amazingly, Derek Barton missed it, and he's looking at Sogard. Okay, looked like it took a bad hop, but he just missed it. I mean, that's a play that he makes. Maybe Nishka took a bad hop, but it's clearly got in a position to make the play. Like it changed direction a little bit after it went over the plate, after the bag. Right there, watch where it changes. It's going hooking, and then it comes back, and his momentum for Barton was carrying a little too far, and he could not reach back to be able to handle it.
So here's Desmond Jennings. Lobaton gets the double, his 13th double of the year. Jennings fouled out to Barton in the 3rd inning. Barton caught it right in front of the fans. That one blocked by Vogt, and now the count is 2-0.
Volt's doing a good job of blocking balls. He's had a lot of opportunities tonight. It tucks the mask under his left arm instead of getting rid of it with the ball in the dirt. Playing it off his chest protector. I like to see catchers get rid of the mask. Having dangerous attached to the hand or the body someplace you do not want to touch the baseball.
So 2-0 to Jennings with DeJesus waiting in the on-deck circle. There's a strike.
That's a surprise take. After a couple of breaking balls in the dirt, you figure that he's not going to throw the curveball for a strike, especially 2-0, yet Jennings was taken all the way. It's a pretty good pitch to hit.
And that one missed a little bit inside. Didn't look like a bad pitch, but maybe away from the target. Sometimes that can. There's an umpire calling the ball. But the count is now 3-1. Big chopper. Donaldson leaps up to get it. Throws quickly, and that's out number 2. Well, if you're looking for earthquake soccer, San Jose is taking on LA right now, and it's on Comcast Sportsnet Plus, which can be found on Comcast channels 104 and 780, DirecTV channel 699, Dish channel 451, and AT&T channel 768. If you can't find Comcast Sportsnet Plus, log on to csncalifornia.com or call your local cable operator. So 2 away here in the top of the 5th, and DeJesus will hit with at second base.
Stephen Vogt went out to talk to Sonny Gray. A couple of rookies actually as a battery mate, but just realized that first base is open. Escobar in the on-deck circle.
Breaking ball just a bit inside to DeJesus, who has struck out and bounced out. Runners in scoring position. Average against Sonny Gray. Very good.
Even though he's on the other team, I would think David Price intently watching another alum from Vanderbilt. I don't know if we've seen Sonny Gray dressed in a helmet, a football guard. Maybe in time. David Price has a little bit more service time. Definitely paying attention to Sonny Gray.
Good pitch there, and it's 1-2. Well, dressing up in your favorite college football team's uniform has become the thing to do now. 1-2. Crowd making some noise. And he called Sonny Gray for a ball. And that's going to allow Lobaton to go to third.
It's Manny Gonzalez. And you know, he stepped off, and as he was stepping off, the runner at second, and he stepped off after getting a sign from Stephen Vogt. Now they're trying to inquire as to what happened. Just watch, he steps off, and I think that's not a ball. He stepped off, and if you're stepping off, you can move, and I don't know that he did anything as he was stepping off. But one thing it does do, maybe he doesn't think twice about the hard curveball. Stephen Vogt has blocked several. He must have done something as he was stepping off that Manny Gonzalez didn't like, as he immediately called the ball.
So the count is 1-2. DeJesus bounces one. Barton has it. He'll take it himself. Then Gray gets out of it. So Lobaton stranded. Bottom of the 5th coming up. No score.
Josh Donaldson and A.J. Griffin is now available. Get the scoop on Jared Parker, break down Brandon Moss's swing, and go way inside the numbers with Director of Baseball Operations Farhan Zaidi. New issues available at the O.Co Coliseum. Team stores are online at oaklandathletics.com/magazine. You saw that magazine already, didn't you, Kite?
Good article. Very interesting. Bottom of the fifth, and it'll be Smith, Barton, and Sogard for the A's. Alex Cobb gave up a single to Crisp and then a walk to Donaldson in the first inning. Since then, he's retired 12 in a row. Smith struck out swinging in the second inning. The second inning, Cobb struck out the side, and he gets a first pitch strike to Smith. Pitch number 54 for Cobb, so his pitch count is pretty good. He's had a couple of quick innings.
But after striking out the side in the second, he's retired 6 in a row. But he's thrown only 21 pitches in those 2 innings. So you're right, pitch count is down. And it seems like both pitchers striking out quite a few. But after that, you started just having the hitters put the ball in play.
Sharp breaking ball, and it's 1-2. Your shift. And Smith drops one into center field, a base hit. So that breaks the stretch of 12 consecutive A's hitters being retired. So this is what we're talking about, Ray. That's Josh Reddick. His favorite college football team is the Georgia Bulldogs. Just a guess.
Now batting first baseman, number 10.
There you go. So we saw David Price dressed in his Vanderbilt uniform a couple of days ago. So Josh Reddick, he's a Georgia fan. He's a Bulldog fan. He likes Uga. You know who Uga is, Ray?
Ugly plays second base for the Braves, right?
Uga.
Oh, Uga?
Yeah.
No, I'm not ugly. No, I don't know who he is.
Okay.
Who is he?
It's the mascot. He's a dog. He's a bulldog.
Learn something every day. College football started today, right?
Yeah.
And Vince Catrona's got his alma mater shirt on.
Central Florida University. Home of Vince Catrona. Shallow. DeJesus coming in. DeJesus is going to get them. So Barton is 0 for 2, and that's out number 1 here in the bottom of the fifth. And that'll bring up Sogard.
Now batting second baseman, number 28.
Sogard struck out looking in the second inning. The Tigers beat the Indians again today. 10-5 was the final. So the Indians' nightmare road trip continues. They're now 0-5 through Atlanta and Detroit. The Indians now 8.5 back of the Tigers in the AL Central. Of course, the Indians in that wild card race, but they're losing ground there as well. To their 5-game losing streak.
You know, Comerica Park's been jammed this weekend.
Yep.
So almost to 40,000 in the 4 games the A's played Monday through Thursday, but they anticipated sellouts for the weekend. And big series, the rivalry, and probably even some fans coming over from Cleveland to watch the games.
Sogard drives one to center. Jennings going back, and Jennings makes the catch. And now Smith is going to have to hustle back. The throw to first, and that's a double play. What a play by Desmond Jennings. So he showed off the speed, and he tracked that baby down, and it's a double play. did not think he was going to catch this ball, Ray. He's playing pretty shallow.
That's just tremendous speed, acceleration, and of course, Seth Smith thought it was going to be over his head because he was rounding second, and ball came back in to Zobrist. Cobb liked it, started pointing towards first, didn't have to because Smith just rounded second, said, I'm going to score this ball over the head of Jennings, and at that point he knew he was not going to make it back. Tried as hard as he could, but an easy double play, but a tremendous play by Jennings, and you can understand why they let B.J. Upton and $75 million go to Atlanta, because they knew Jennings could play center, cover a lot of ground, and he just showed why.
And you know what? You can sort of see what Seth Smith is thinking.
Sure.
He's thinking it's a 0-0 game.
Yeah.
It's a pitcher's duel. If that ball is over his head, I have to score.
Absolutely.
So granted, he got doubled off, but you sort of see what Seth Smith was thinking.
Well, and
can't really blame him for that.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the ball was hit directly over the head, and Jennings tracked it down. If it's in the gap, considering it was a line drive, it probably would have gotten down easily, but very impressive by Jennings.
Escobar hitting in the second spot tonight. He was down in the order last night. He's 0 for 2. 3 hits for the Rays, 2 hits for the Athletics. With a breaking ball, and it's 0-2. Top of the 9th in Arlington, Texas. Twins and Rangers tied at 1. The Rangers have brought in their closer, Joe Nathan, for the tie. Good pitch, outside corner, strike 3 called. Escobar in disbelief. And that is strikeout number 7 for Sonny Gray.
Painted the outside corner, and it's kind of funny because that's Escobar. I don't think it's almost like he's Ted Williams, and if he takes it, it's got to be a ball, but he's not Ted Williams, and it's a pretty good pitch, but he didn't like it. That's the second time he struck out.
So here's Ben Zobrist. Zobrist drives into center. Coco gets back there. Warning track, and he's got it for out number 2. So Sonny Gray, 2 outs here in the 6th inning. 1 walk, 7 strikeouts for Gray. 1 walk, 5 strikeouts for Cobb, and it's turning into one of those games, Ray, where first team to blink, for lack of a better phrase. Now you start, at times, games like this decided by a mistake somewhere, whether it be defensively. Strike called on the outside corner. Longoria doesn't like it.
Well, against a power hitter, Longoria, you stay out there because you make a mistake. Last night, Jared Parker threw him a fastball inside, and he popped it straight up. And dangerous zone because he's so quick inside, Longoria is. Not to say you can't handle the outside, but you'd rather take your chance with a pitch out there.
So 1-1 the count. Longoria has struck out and singled. Breaking ball, but it stayed high. Loney has a single. Longoria has a single. Lobaton has a double. Those are the 3 hits. Longoria got a pitch to hit there, and he fouled it back. Catch Longoria when he's struggling a little bit. That's always a good thing.
And struggle if he's going to another day plus this game, because he just missed a very good hitter's pitch.
Sonny Gray, bare hands throws, and Barton is able to dig it out, and they got Longoria. 3 up, 3 down inning. Bottom of the 6th coming up. It'll be Vogt, Crisp, and Donaldson, and we're scoreless. For doubles in a season. Our old friend Jason Giambi had 47 doubles in 2001. So, right, Lowry has got a very legitimate shot to get to that. Something else to watch for when September baseball starts tomorrow.
Still think Jed Lowry just happened to be playing baseball this late in the season. Nice play, both of those guys. And Sonny Gray, off balance throw. Derek Barton, a nice pick at first base. And you talked about mistakes. One was almost made, but it took a very good play on a slow hit ball by Longoria, because the ball had gotten by Barton. That ball's down in the right field bullpen. There's 2 outs, but still a great defensive play, which is what you expect to see in a night like this.
So Vogt will lead things off, followed by Crisp and then Donaldson. The 2 hits for the A's. A single by Crisp in the first, a single by Smith in the 5th. 1 walk, 5 strikeouts for Alex Cobb, and pitch number 62 coming up. That one in eye to right field. Myers is going back, still going back. He's at the wall, he leaps, it's off the wall. And Stephen Vogt's going to try for third, and he's going to make it as the throw is airmailed, and it's a leadoff triple for Vogt.
The high turning fly ball, and Will Myers went back. I guess he thought he had a chance, but a curve ball and the uppercut swing by Vogt. And it kept traveling, and Will Myers, see Jennings starting to come over to back up, and the ball off the top of the wall, so Jennings was there, but all the while Vogt running hard. That's how close. Might have jumped to the Vogt. Anytime a catcher smells a triple, and Stephen Vogt has shown some pretty good speed since being with the Athletics, so a nice leadoff triple in the 6th inning.
First triple of his career, and it's a big one. And here's Coco. Infield comes about halfway in. First pitch on the inside corner, strike.
Yeah, Myers looked like he jumped high enough, and ball just missed his glove. It was very close to his glove as he jumped up, and he had plenty of time to track it.
Change up outside, 1-1. Coco's done a good job in these spots, getting that runner home from third with less than 2 outs. In this case, there's nobody out. Pitch in the dirt. Coco chased it 1-2.
That's your off-speed pitch again, and he's probably going to go to it, hoping that his catcher continues to block them, which Lobaton did nicely on that one. Same pitch.
Blocked nicely by Lobaton. That one was kind of spiked into the ground.
And both catchers doing a very good job blocking balls. This one exceptional because it was so far out in front of the plate. And Lobaton just tried to get the catcher's mitt between the legs, which he did, and used his body to block it. That far out in front of the plate, it's just throw your body and become a goalie.
2-2 pitch is grounded into center field, the base hit, and the A's take the lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Now the great at bat by Coco Crisp, especially when the off-speed pitch is thrown by the right-hander, but Lobaton inside, fastball, middle of the plate. And he could not field his position. Look at the ball come right back in the middle. No stride by Coco. And right back up the middle. You see, it almost looked like Cobb pulled the glove back like he did not want to try to catch it, thinking maybe it was going to a second baseman, but it was past Zobrist and into center field.
So Coco knocks in Vogt.
Question is, how long will it be before Coco's hair looks like that?
A while. First career triple for Vogt, and he ends up scoring the first run in the game. 1-0. The A's lead it here in the bottom of the 6th.
And how about this? Kurt Suzuki, 3-run home run last night. And tonight, Stephen Bolt, his first triple. So catchers offensively last night and tonight, sparking the A's offense.
Donaldson a walk and a foul out. First pitch is curveball in for a strike. The Rangers are batting in the bottom of the 9th inning. Tied 1-1 with the Twins. Coco had a stolen base in the first inning.
Cobb's going to pay a little bit more attention this time.
I think so.
Okay. Waller does have a stopwatch and letting Coco know the time for Cobb, which is pretty quick, at least to first base. He's first base and outfield coach. Stopwatch and right hand.
Coco has 16 steals, 17 now with his one in the first inning. Told us, what, a week ago or so, he is well aware of how close he is to get to 300 career steals, which very nice milestone. Hit his 100th career home run not long ago. Donaldson had a good swing. Fouls it straight back, and the count is 0-2.
100th career home run for Coco in Detroit, right into the walkway in right field, so he's able to retrieve the ball.
So long look in by Cobb. Coco talking to Tony Randazzo, just keeping an eye on the move of Alex Cobb. Now that was a little different.
Yeah, the knees. He's talking about the collapsing of the legs, the knees, and cannot collapse the back leg or the front. And that's what they look for, the legs, the knees.
Bounce towards short, out at second, and that's a double play. And just like that, there are 2 outs.
Now batting, number 8.
So 6-4-3 on the double play. Lowry hits. Lowry with a strikeout and a fly ball to left field. So, Ray, we're going to show you that move by Alex Cobb and why Coco didn't really like it. It's almost like a double move. Watch. We'll slow it down a little bit. Watch right there.
Yeah, the knees.
Yeah, and that could be a ball.
Yeah.
Now, pitchers doing that on purpose? Probably, right?
Probably, and maybe got away with it and won't do it again. Yeah. And usually an umpire, something that quick will not be called by an umpire. Yes, something Sonny Gray did that was noticed by Manny Gonzalez because he called it, and still think looked like Sonny Gray was just backing off the mound and had a ball call. The Coco and usually good base stealers know pitchers' moves, and he saw something from Cobb that was not normal, and Dazzle didn't see it.
Coco's stood at first base enough as a super base runner. He's seen all the moves, and if he sees something that doesn't look right, he's probably running. If you think about it, if you're the base runner and you're seriously thinking about going, and this is the pitch you're going on, if Cobb does that, as soon as that knee breaks a little bit, he takes off and he's going to get picked off.
Right, and then the knee breaking is what they look for, because the knee breaks, it usually goes to the plate or has to.
The pitch is way outside, and Lowry has a 2-out walk.
MLB.TV celebrates 11 years. Catch the rest of the 2013 season in HD quality. Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 350 mobile and connected devices. Visit MLB.TV today. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere. Talking about trucks, that must be Brandon Moss hitting. Walk-up music for Brandon Moss.
Quick throw at first.
You know, they say about a runner being held at first. There's that gap between first and second. The Rays take that away when they're playing the shift.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's no gap. So for Brandon Moss, who really is a pull hitter, there's no gap on the right side.
Outside, 1-0.
Not surprising, Evan Longoria with 3 infielders to the right. Should Jet Lowry decide to steal, needs to be somebody to cover third. So Longoria is kind of taking space in the whole left side of the infield.
Moss takes off-speed pitch. That's in for a strike, and the count is 1-1. Like Alex Cobb maybe quite as sharp in this inning. He's left a couple balls up.
He's throwing those off-speed pitches. Brandon Moss is going to do what he did to Ari Hickey in Toronto. Crush one of them. The low knuckleball. Straight away center field.
Quick throw to first, and Lowry gets back.
Pace has slowed down considerably also for Cobb in this half inning, and that could also be trying to make sure all the pitches are good.
Moss goes for a little walk as Cobb revs up the baseball. The Rangers have 2 on and 2 out in the bottom of the 9th inning. They are trying to win it over the Twins. Let you know what happens there. Strike inside corner, I guess, and it's 2-2.
Well, the breaking ball, Lobaton outside, and it dropped really across the entire part of the plate. It's started outside to the inside corner.
So 2-2. Moss is ready. Swing and a miss. A run for the A's as Vogt triples. Coco singles him home. So we're headed to the 7th inning, and it's the A's 1 and the Rays nothing. Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California, brought to you by GoPro, the world's most versatile camera. GoPro, be a hero. There they come, folks. We call it the Big Head Race, and I think Eck got a W today.
Yes, he did. He's a mullion, man. I can't believe.
Yeah, I think Eck's a better-looking guy than the Big Head shows. I mean, it's Eck. Come on.
Number 20, Matt.
I think Ricky only wins when Ricky's in the house.
That's right.
Ricky sits down below.
Got a little MC Hammer look to him, too.
That's a
Ricky Big Head.
That's a great call. Yeah. That's right.
But it's fun. The fans love it.
Well, one of these days they're going to have Ricky, Raleigh, and Ricky Eck here all at the same time and see who wins then.
Make him go out there and run. You have to put your big head on and run. Don't think that's going to happen. Right next to my partner Ray Fosse.
Yeah.
He's with a 1-0 lead top of the 7th inning.
But don't need to panic because there's a run on the board because shutdowns are important. And for Sonny Gray, 86 pitches to start the inning.
Just missed, and now it's 3-0 to Joyce. He'll be followed by Myers and Loney. So runs hard to come by in the first 2 games of this series. Lots of good pitching. And that one on the outside corner.
Well, you do expect it, and that's why people say that if the Rays and the A's should meet in a 1-game play-in, and it'd be disappointing because one of the teams would be going home, and both teams have very good starting pitching and pitching in general.
Fouled right at the plate to make it a 3-2 count to Joyce, who has struck out and walked.
Another sellout here tonight, and 35,067, which is the sellout.
That's the 12th sellout of the year for the Athletics.
Best month of baseball just beginning.
Down the right field line into the corner. Moss is near the wall. He leaps and he missed it, but it's a foul ball. Good effort by Moss. I think Joyce had a pretty good idea that it was going to be foul.
Glad he did. You never know down the line because it shortens out very quickly. Moss, though, moving into foul territory, jumped and just could not come up with it.
How close? Oh, he was close.
Right over the top of his glove. And great effort. Sean Doolittle starts to get loose for the Athletics in their bullpen.
The 3-2 pitch is drilled toward Moss and right. He's going to play it on a hop. So Joyce got himself in hitter's count at 3-1. Long foul ball, and then he lines the 3-2 pitch for a base hit. So hit number 4. Rays, and it's a leadoff single.
Well, it's a tough play for an outfielder. It's a good pitch to hit from the hitter standpoint because it was about bell time. You just had to listen to it, but sinking quickly, and Brandon Moss thought about trying to catch it, but the danger, at least to keep the double play in order, and the danger of having the ball go past an outfielder. But James Loney due up after Myers. .94 pitches for Sonny Gray against the Mariners here before his last start, which occurred in Baltimore.
Myers has struck out twice, both times swinging.
Man to put the hit and run on just to try to get him to make contact. It's one of the best ways at times for a hitter who's struggling to get something done.
So 1-0 to Myers. And takes that one for a strike.
Swung and missed a few curveballs, but got maybe his best pitch, fastball. That was called a strike. Didn't swing though.
And that one called a strike. Outside corner.
Perfectly thrown, and he still has excellent velocity in his fastball. Even with the pitch number 110 and his 118 pitch game against the Astros for 8 innings was at 94. So still good velocity as his pitch count started to rise.
Joyce the runner at first. He's got a pretty good lead. In the dirt, Vogt blocks it again, so the count is even at 2-2.
And catchers both nights. Suzuki last night, Vogt tonight, doing a very good job blocking balls. And the important thing is that to be able to keep runners from advancing into scoring position.
That's your final with Leonis Martin. With the bases loaded and 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning, he singled up the middle and knocked in the winning run. So the Rangers win it 2-1 in walk-off fashion. That one bounced up the middle. Lowry charges right near the bag. He's got it, and that's a double play.
Couldn't ask for a better ball to be hit to a shortstop, but could take it himself. Amazing watching Jed Lowry just kind of stop on the bag as the ball towards second base, but he caught it and then stop on the bag and a quick throw to Barton. No reason for Sogard to get there. Jumped out of the way of the sliding Joyce, and a tailor-made double play.
So here's Loney with 2 outs. Loney has a single, and he lined out to third in the 5th inning, so 1 for 2. The pitch number 100 coming up for Sonny Gray. In that last start where he got knocked out early in the 4th inning in Baltimore, he threw just 67 pitches.
Whatever he did in between starts, and Kurt Young, the A's pitching coach, works with him very well, probably concentrating on getting the ball down, which he has done a very good job tonight.
Just a touch inside, 2-1 to Loney. So that Ranger win gives Texas 79 wins now. 79 and 56. There's a line drive, left center field, a base hit. Cespedes cuts it off, and Loney has got a 2-out hit. So a couple of hard hit singles off of Sonny Gray here in the 7th. But there's the double play, the big play right now.
And there may not be anybody better than James Loney doing this. Going opposite field. That's a left-handed hitter doing it. And it might have been the last batter for Sonny Gray with Bob Melvin coming up. And if it is, then a nice job.
Indeed. 6 2/3 innings of shutout baseball for Sonny Gray. 102 pitches, and he's going to get a huge ovation from this sellout crowd. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change tune-up and star experts. 1-0 A's lead here in the top of the 7th.
Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Xfinity, home of the most live sports, and by Toyota. Do the math and save at your local Toyota dealer.
So Sonny Gray, 6 2/3 innings. He leaves with a 1-0 lead. So he was very good tonight. 102 pitches, 7 strikeouts. And Doolittle comes out to face Lobaton. And the first pitch to Lobaton is low. Lobaton, a switch hitter. Pretty even, 250 as a right-handed hitter, 265 as a left-handed hitter. Vogt can't find it, and trying to go to second base, and he's going to make it, is Loney. So Loney heads up. He took off right away. As soon as he saw Vogt looking for the ball, Loney took off.
I can remember a couple of times that's happened with Stephen Vogt, where the ball has been, in this case, he backhanded it, and by that time, and all it takes for a base runner with a secondary lead to see a catcher spin around, because he's not deking anybody, and it's pretty obvious that it is a situation where he doesn't know where the ball is.
2-0 pitch, and that's a fastball in for a strike. Lobaton, a fly ball to center, and then he doubled. He doubled the ball that scooted past Barton, took a little bit of a weird hop, and it went down the right field line. Vogt missed that one. So now the count 3-1.
And that looked like a strike. Looked like it was right down the middle.
It did not look like it was in the dirt.
Oh, it definitely was not in the dirt. I mean, it looked like it was knee high.
It was a close pitch, put it that way.
Bounced off the knee of Lobaton.
And now a full count. So the tying run at second base. And the pitch is down and in, and it's a walk.
Now batting, number
So
8,
2 on, 2 out for Desmond Jennings. Jennings, a foul out and a ground out. Good numbers. An inherited runner stranded. First pitch is a fastball that's high. So the double play continues to loom large in this inning. And that's a strike. Inside corner to Jennings. Jennings is 0 for 5 with a walk in this series. Snaps in there, and it's 1-2. That's probably a pitch Jennings did not think he would see.
Glad Manny Gonzalez watched it, because he hadn't seen a lot of them from Sean Doolittle either. That was a perfectly thrown slider, and the scouting report says he's a fastball pitcher. To see that, not surprised he froze him.
That one's driven to left center field, but it's going to stay in the ballpark, and Coco is under it. He's got it side retired. So the Rays strand 2 more. They've stranded 6 in the game, and it's 1-0 as we have reached the 7th inning stretch. lead here at the Coliseum, bottom of the 7th inning. So Sonny Gray pitched very well tonight. He will head to the clubhouse and hope the bullpen can hold on, get him his second win. So Chris to lead it off. Alex Cobb still out there. Cobb has thrown 81 pitches through 6 innings. Actually, Cespedes to lead it off.
Number 52, Johanna Cespedes.
So Cespedes, Smith, and Barton. Cespedes 0 for 2 in his first 2 at-bats. Rangers won their game tonight by a final score of 2-1. Rangers will be here in Oakland on Monday.
All the charts, all the information on the pitchers, what they throw. Lots of information. All you have to do is just drop by and you can spend a half hour just reviewing all the information posted on the dugouts in both dugouts.
I try to stay away from it.
That's right.
It just confuses me.
Well, Adam Roden is the one that puts all that together. He is unbelievable with the time and effort he puts in the scouting reports and all the information. And relied on heavily by manager Bob Melvin and the staff. Same for Joe Madden and his staff. And part of the game.
One and 2 to Cespedes.
We keep waiting for Cespedes to break out, and tomorrow being the first day of the month of September, and for him the first 5 months, while he has hit 20 home runs, he's driven in 61. Still not the type of production we've been accustomed to seeing from Cespedes.
And he swings and misses, and that is out number 1. And that is strikeout number 7 for Alex Cobb. Well, tomorrow's a big day. A's will celebrate their 15th annual Breast Cancer Awareness Day, presented in part by Bay Area News Group, America Bank, Nelson Staffing, and Ross Dress for Less. Since the inaugural event in 1999, the A's have donated more than $1.25 million to breast cancer awareness, education, and research. Now, to join the fight, purchase a special $26 ticket, and $5 will go directly to the American Cancer Society. For more information and to purchase special tickets, go to oaklandathletics.com/survivor. So that's tomorrow, PCA Day here at the Coliseum, and that is always a very special day. It'll be a beautiful day weather-wise, as it always is for day games here at the Coliseum. It all goes for a terrific cause. That's the most important thing. Two-0 pitch to Seth Smith. Cobb thought it was a strike.
So did Smith. But he took it anyway, and not a great pitch to hit. As it was called a ball.
That one is a strike, so 3-1 the count. So the only run in the game, a triple by Vogt and a single by Crisp, and that was last inning for the A's. Not close, and it's a 1-out walk for Smith. So that's walk number 3. Pitching coach Jim Hickey bounces out of the dugout.
You know, if there's one thing about Cobb tonight, while he's had a very good off-speed pitch, a splitter change, curveball, he's got a good fastball, yet even 3-1 to Seth Smith. Throw him an off-speed breaking ball that he took, and the longer the game goes, the better it is for hitters to recognize off-speed pitches, especially a good curveball.
So Jim Hickey trots back to the dugout.
Now batting, first baseman, number 10, Derek Barton.
And Barton will hit. Barton has struck out and hit a fly ball to left field. See the out-of-town scoreboard behind you. All the games in the American League are finished. Breaking ball, and it's down and into Derek Barton. Otero starts to loosen up. Cook and Balfour both pitched last night, and Cook threw quite a few pitches. That was called a strike.
Threw a lot of pitches, but 2 huge strikeouts. Runners at second and third in the 8th inning, which was a tie game.
Cook threw 27 pitches last night. Balfour threw 19.
I think Balfour was just getting loose, though. That's got to be a problem for him. He was just happy the A's scored a run in the 8th inning. He's going to go in to try to take it to the bottom of the 9th, but the A's did score and got a chance to save the game.
Kurt Suzuki comes in from the bullpen.
They do have a lefty warming up, so it comes down to Vogt maybe coming up. It's a possibility with the left-hander might pinch hit Suzuki, or at least pinch hit and have him going to catch. I don't think you don't want to waste a batter.
Short lead at first for Smith, and Barton takes another close pitch, and it's 3-2.
He's trying to see if the runner Smith is going to be on the move, so he's not surprised. Guy will give it a sign to Seth Smith and to Derek Barton.
Smith takes off. The pitch to Barton is low, and he walked in. Back-to-back one-out walks for Cobb. A's Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California, brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. Cache Creek's endless summers, waves of cash every day. Visit CacheCreek.com for details. So here's Sogard. So keep this in mind too. The Rays have 4 left-handers in their bullpen.
Yeah.
They have 4 lefties, 4 righties. And of course, tomorrow it won't matter because you can have call-ups and you can have all kinds of pitchers down in your bullpen if you'd like. First pitch, off speed, and the pitch is low. You're right, Ray. Cobb does throw a lot of off-speed pitches. Wow.
Yes, he does. And again, this late, Derek Barton did a great job taking those pitches, 3-1 and actually 2-1 and 3-1, and drawing the walk.
Hit hard to Loney. He's got it out at second, and that's a double play. And James Loney picked it clean, made a nice throw, got back to cover. 3-6-3 double play, and that will do it for the A's in the bottom of the 7th. Ace Baseball and Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Eric's Deli Cafe, celebrating 40 years of bringing it to the plate. Stop by Eric's and enter to win 40 years of free sandwiches with character. A beautiful look at downtown Oakland on a Saturday night. Pennant race baseball at the Coliseum. 1-0. The A's lead the Rays. It's the top of the 8th inning.
And through the end of the show.
So Doolittle back to work here in the 8th inning, and he's going to face a pinch hitter. It's going to be Sean Rodriguez, a right-handed hitter. And Rodriguez is going to hit for David DeJesus.
Your attention, please.
Dan Otero is loosening, and is loose, I guess you could say.
Number 1, Sean Rodriguez.
Right-hander Escobar, switch hitter Zobrist, right-hander Longoria to follow.
And the first pitch is a fastball that's very high, 1-0. So Rodriguez pinch hitting. 244, 3 homers, 18 RBI. So David DeJesus goes 0 for 3. That one close, but called the ball, 2-0. Swing and a miss. Rodriguez had a big rip. Rodriguez probably not playing as much this year as he has in years past. There's Escobar, everyday shortstop. And you get Will Myers. So Zobrist doesn't play quite as much outfield. Zobrist comes in and plays much more second base. Rodriguez still a valuable guy for Joe Madden. Just not as many at bats for him. Escobar will be next, and then Zobrist here in the 8th. 2-2 pitch is a slider that stays well outside. Full count.
Now we know what's coming, 3-2. I don't know if he's trying to go back door or trying to throw it and just left it outside, but you figure here comes a challenge fastball.
And there it is, and he misses outside, and it's a leadoff walk to Rodriguez. So Doolittle has faced 3 hitters. He's walked 2 of them. So now Escobar hits.
Now batting, number 11, Miguel Escobar.
Escobar is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. First pitch, big swing, fouled right side. Escobar has 4 sacrifice bunts this year. Does not look like that's part of the plan here in the 8th inning.
What is it? At home, play for a tie. On the road, play for a win.
There you go.
Yeah, that's kind of the theory, at least at this point.
And it makes sense.
Yeah.
Get the last at bat at home, right. So
I think a lot too depends on strength of your bullpen, because regardless of where you're playing, if you tie a game and your bullpen's strong and you figure they're not going to give up runs, then just play for the tie and hope your offense can score.
That's a good call. You've got a good bullpen. That makes even more sense than to play for a tie at home. Go for it with the last at bat. Well, pitch here.
Yeah, with this pitch, he's swinging the bat, and Doolittle could not have made a more perfect pitch on the inside corner.
0-2 is bounced to Donaldson, who charges. He throws low, and Sogard kept his foot on the bag. What a play by Sogard.
Now, he's been like a magician around the bag, and he shows it there, because Donaldson maybe an attempt to turn a double play when it's a chance really to get one. A slow hit ball and he threw it. Sogard caught it backhand, but all the while, check the footwork. Kept the foot on the bag and then tumbled over. Rodriguez thought he was safe, but that could have butted the ball in the right field. A runner at third. First and third is a possibility, but still a big out and a runner at first.
So we're going to get a pinch runner. Looks like he's saying fold. He's going to run for Escobar.
Number 5, Sam Fold, now running.
Which makes sense, Ray. You can put Rodriguez in Escobar's defensive position, and you can put Fold into Jesus's defensive position. Fold is a fast runner. Fold has 5 steals. He's been thrown out twice. First pitch to Zobrist. Foul back.
See what kind of fastball Doolittle has. When you see right-handed hitters and they load up looking fastball, still at this point not able to get around. That's pretty impressive by Sean Doolittle.
Fold steps back. Otero has been warming up, and he's ready to go down to the A's bullpen if needed. It's funny, that play by Sogard. Lowry made a nice play on a force out late in the game last night, and that was a difficult play.
You know, Cappy actually said if he hadn't slipped, he was going to try for double play and thought he could have done it. I said, wait a minute, looked like you just barely caught it, but he said his momentum had him going, scooped it, and actually had intent on trying to complete the double play. Remarkable that he handled it the way he did. I guess when you just hit your 40th double, you're going to make plays like that. It's his night.
Fold has a good lead at first. Doolittle keeping a very close eye on him. Swing and a miss, 94 miles an hour. And now Zobrist is behind in the count on 2.
Couple throws at first base and just rear back and throw hard, and couldn't have a better swing than Zobrist, just no contact. Squirrel Beard, you got the look.
Fly ball shallow right. Sogard out, Moss in. And that's out number 2. So Zobrist is 0 for 4.
Here's the call for the skipper, and looks like he's going to go to Otero. Try to get a ground ball from Longoria.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change tune-up and smog experts.
September the 7th at OAK Coliseum. This popular post-game event is highlighted by A's players sharing their testimonials, as well as a performance by Donnie Moore and the Radical Reality team. For more information and tickets, go to oaklandathletics.com/faith. You must purchase a special ticket for this event to participate in the post-game festivities. And if you've never seen the Radical Reality team, get a ticket and watch it, because Donnie Moore and the boys are great. It'll be the 7th. It'll be a Saturday here at the Coliseum, a week from today. Wow, September already.
Otero on to face Longoria, and the first pitch is a strike. So Doolittle goes an inning. Walks a couple. Longoria is 1 for 3 tonight. Runner goes, stops midway, and then finishes the stolen base, and then comes off the bag, and they almost got it. So Sam Fuld ends up stealing the base. He had such a big jump, he couldn't believe that Otero was not going to throw to first, and he stopped.
Well, he took off like Coco did, and then didn't slide. That was the amazing thing. He stood up figuring it was not going to be a play, and the top of the bag, as he just showed, is very slippery. He just slipped off, and maybe just have, well, I don't know what kind of cleats he has on, but he didn't stay on the bag.
Close pitch, 2-1. So the tying run is at second base with the Rays' best hitter in the batter's box.
I don't know that there could be enough guys screaming when that happens, because everybody's saying except the pitcher.
And you and I wanted to scream, but it probably wouldn't be.
No, it wouldn't do any good either. If they hear us, and this is a quiet crowd, surprisingly vote through. And I think that's what shocked Fuld at second base.
So the count is 2-2. Longoria chases that sinker, just got a piece of it. Tense moments here at the Coliseum. Very much like last night. That one bounced, and it's bounced foul. And that one was up a little bit.
And Dan Otero has a good two-seam fastball. Longoria, unless they think he's going to pull outfield straight up, but take a chance with a big two-seamer to the outside part of the plate earlier in the game. That's what Sonny Gray did. And struck him out with a fastball first at bat.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. High fastball, and Otero does his thing, and the tying run is stranded at second base. A's lead it 1-0. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Here's our game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Sonny Gray, one of the stories tonight. 6 2/3 innings, 5 hits, no runs, 7 strikeouts. Alex Cobb, the unstarter for the Rays, has been almost as good. He gave up 1 run in the 6th inning, and this is it. A triple by Vogt leading off. And then Coco Crisp, the very next hitter, slaps one up the middle. And that made it a 1-0 game, and that is where it is right now. 0-5-0 for the Rays, 1-4-0 for the Athletics. Cobb is still in the game. Sonny Gray is out. The Rays 0-for-7 with runners in scoring position. We said it last night. They're a team that right now is having trouble scoring runs, and we have seen that in this series.
Well, for Longoria to swing and miss a fastball, he is a very good fastball hitter, but Dan Otero, good sinker ball pitcher, elevated his fastball and got the big strikeout.
So Vogt to lead it off, then Crisp and Donaldson. Sam Fuld stays in the game in left field. Zobrist is now at shortstop with Rodriguez playing second base. Zobrist is going to go out, but he'll be called off by Fuld. So that's out number 1. So Rodriguez stays in the game. He's at second. Zobrist at short. Fuld in left.
Now batting center fielder, number 4, Coco Crisp.
Grant Balfour starts to throw in the A's bullpen. First pitch to Coco. Breaking ball drops in for a strike. So Cobb is now at 101 pitches. Coco hits one high and deep, headed for the right field corner, and that baby's gone. 2-0 A's. So home run number 15 for Coco Crisp. Big insurance run for the A's.
You know how many times the pitcher Cobb has been pitching inside with the fastball, trying to bring it back. Coco brought it back. Lobaton set up inside, and a fastball stayed about bell tight. Coco down the line, the shortest distance, 330 down the right field line, and gone. And that is a big run, huge run.
So Coco, a 3-hit night, couple of singles in that home run. He's knocked in both runs. Doing his thing out of that leadoff spot. Changeup in for a strike to Donaldson.
Coco with his 15th, and he knew it was gone. Knew it had plenty of distance, and when he starts to take off the batting gloves, loosen the batting gloves, you know it's gone.
Oh, and hit hard in the hole. Zobrist backhands, throws, and Loney smoothly digs it out. And that's out number 2.
Now look at the two-seamer. Tries to bring it back, and Coco read it, and is so quick. And maybe just the fact that Cobb bench knew it was gone. Nate putting his hands high above the dugout so all the fans can see who it is. Coco, big swing again.
So with 2 outs, Lowry steps in.
A big week for Coco. Monday hit his 100th against Anibal Sanchez, and a big one tonight.
Lowry has struck out, hit a fly ball to left, and he has walked. In the 9th inning, it'll be Joyce, Myers, and Loney, the 3 hitters for the Rays, with Balfour getting set to face them. Loney scoops it, steps on the bag, side retired. Coco Crisp is having a big night, and he hits home run number 15 to give the A's a 2-0 lead. 9th inning coming up. A's looking for their 2nd win in a row over the Rays.
Time now for the AT&T U-verse Rewind. Sonny Gray coming off a less than subpar start against the Orioles, but tonight's spectacular. De Jesus with a 3-2 fastball swung, and then he got Escobar with a curveball. And struck out 5 of the first 6 batters he would face. Took out the side on the second, but everything working. Great 12-6 curveball. And Sonny Gray finishes with 7 strikeouts, 5 of those coming in the first 2 innings. But I'd say maybe one of the best pitches when after the balk was called. Threw a curveball to De Jesus and got him with a ground out and got out of the inning.
So Balfour is in. 2-0 the A's lead, and Matt Joyce to lead it off. First pitch up and away to Joyce. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and spawn expert. So Balfour looking for his 35th save of the year. Swing and a miss by Matt Joyce. Swing of the ball. So Kurt Suzuki is now in the game. So vote on the big triple. He'll enjoy the rest of this one from the dugout. Popped up. It's going to be Moss. A couple steps in right field. He's got it, and that's out number 1. Balfour got the save last night.
Now batting, number 9, Will Myers.
And also pitching for the 3rd consecutive game.
Probably getting better just because of it.
First pitch to Myers is a fastball that runs inside. Myers has had a tough night. He's 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts, and he hit into a double play. And he's a struggling hitter right now. He's 0 for his last 22.
And he should be taking a strike. That's why Balfour trying to throw one just down the middle, because big home run by Coco Chris made it a 2-run game, which means they're trying to get a base run. Surprise, surprise. Amazing. Times have changed.
Yep, I don't get it either.
I don't either. That's why what Detroit did on Thursday against Grant Balfour. They were down 3. Grant Jackson just take not Grant Jackson, Austin Jackson taking.
Prince Fielder got a big walk too.
Exactly. So I mean, it's really Balfour threw the first 6 out of the strike zone, got a gift strike up in the zone, but you're down the base runners, and that really helps Balfour tremendously for him to swing at the 2-0.
2-2 pitch is low. Loney on deck. Lobaton would be after Loney. Foul back. Myers had a pretty good swing there. Outfield straightaway and really deep for Myers. Cobb is sitting on a complete game loss. Don't see a whole lot of those. Hit well to right. Moss going back. He's at the wall, and it is off the wall. And Myers is going to have a 1-out double. So we see the opposite field power from Will Myers. As ball's not carrying tonight very well. And I think he hit that one pretty well.
Well, Balfour provided the power, and as a fastball down, he just swung well. And you can see why they like him with that type of swing. Brandon Moss, no chance, played it off the wall nicely, holding him to a double. Grind time.
Ain't that the truth?
And thankful for Coco Chris home run.
So here's Loney. Loney's 2 for 3. Had a big hit in last night's game. 2 singles and a line out tonight for Loney. And the fastball is outside.
It's been rare in these 2 games that the A's have faced Loney and they've stayed outside with everything. Last night, the 10-pitch at bat. We'll probably show you momentarily, but everything was outside, as is the case tonight. And here it was on the 10th pitch, Loney. And this was big, the fact just 1 out, because Chris Young had it, but then the ball skipped away. Loney gets a double, but Longoria had to stop at third. By stopping at third, that prevented the go-ahead run from scoring. And then Cook was able to get back-to-back strikeouts.
Missed again, and now it's 3-0 to Loney with the switch-hitting Lobaton waiting in the on-deck circle. Balfour needs to throw a strike. And he does, and it was a good pitch. Paints the corner, 3-1. Loney took the 3-0 pitch. He'll probably be ready to rip here on 3-1. Swing and a miss. There was a good breaking ball from Balfour. I think Loney was looking for that.
He was not, and he threw the 2-2 breaking ball to Myers and missed. Came back with a fastball, but 3-1. That Balfour, not kind of the curveball, but he comes around a little bit where he can throw it more for a controlled strike, but an off-speed pitch nonetheless.
Kurt Suzuki and Balfour will meet at the mound. Pitch is down and in. So Loney has a good at bat. He's on base for the 3rd time. And now it's Jose Lobaton, who's got some decent power. He's a switch hitter.
Jose Lobaton.
So 2 on, 1 out. The on-deck hitter is Desmond Jennings.
Now Barton at first base has to guard the line against an extra base hit. So it opens up the big gap between first and second. Michael Balfour can throw more than just the blazing fastball.
There's a line drive and right at Sogard, and that's out number 2.
Thank you, Abner. Abner put those guys there for a reason, I guess. Amazing. A shot. Lobaton jumping on the first low fastball. Drilled it. Sogard hardly had to move. Excellent base running by Myers, especially at second, because temptations to take off. He did not.
So here's Jennings. The final hope for the Rays. Holds up, and the count is 1-0. Jennings is 0 for 3. He's fouled out, grounded out, and hit a fly ball to center field.
Here's a big pitch. He missed the breaking ball, and I think Jennings got to be sitting. Fastball.
And both runners are the lead runner is going to try to get to third, and he will make it. Loney started out for second and then stopped and went back. So it goes as a wild pitch. But Loney not going turns out to be a big play.
Very big. Well, it's a hard biting curveball, and Kurt Suzuki moved and kept it close and threw to third. Fortunately, like you said, Loney did not move, and he was not being held, but not knowing what the lead runner was going to do. Myers took off.
That's true. You can't go unless you know the guy in front of you. So first and third, 2-0 now to Jennings. And now 3-0. Sean Rodriguez. Now there's a pinch hitter in the on-deck circle. It's Kelly Johnson, the left-handed hitter.
Balfour has to score a throw strike. I could figure Jennings got to be taken.
And it's a strike on the outside corner.
Which means if he takes the 3-0, he's got to throw on 2 strikes, and the second one has to get quality strike. Outside corner, painted perfectly. And he started his ball 4. Outfield extremely deep.
There's a shot center field, and that's a base hit. Myers will come in to score. Loney will stop at second, and it's a 2-1 game. So Desmond Jennings, a 2-out RBI hit with the Rays down to their final out.
And like you said, Loney not running. It's a tie game if he runs. And the ball hit the mound, did not deflect enough towards the shortstop. Get right to the left of the mound, but Lowry just hit too hard.
So this is Kelly Johnson, a left-handed hitter. Cook gets up in the A's bullpen. Couple of hits and a walk. And Loney is now the tying run. First pitch to Kelly Johnson is bounced right side. Barton, Balfour, and that's the game. So Kelly Johnson went after the first pitch, and Balfour gives up a run, but he hangs on. And the A's, for the second night in a row, defeat the Tampa Bay Rays. Tonight, the final score is 2-1. So Gray gets the win.